What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon, and boy, do we have some stuff to talk about right now. We got some stuff to go into today because the Seattle Seahawks' first joint practice in over 30 years. Supposedly, the last joint practice run by the Seahawks, or participated in by the Seahawks, was 1991, so it's been a while, but the first one has concluded. There will be another one, I believe, tomorrow, and then we'll see where things lay. We'll see how we feel about them. Do we want to do them again next year? Do we want to do them again going forward? We'll see how the coaching staff and how the team feels about it, but let's try to process the stuff that we learned from today. I've rounded up assorted notes from various beat reporters who were there, some people who maybe were watching from afar, some people who were actually at the Titans practice facility today. And we'll try to get a feel for things here. So overall, the general sense that I got from this first joint practice day was very successful. Not just in the fact that the Seahawks looked good in most areas. I think they looked fairly good overall. But there wasn't any escalation beyond what is healthy when it came to the way in which the players approached today. So let's go ahead and talk about it, starting from the beginning, going through some injury notes and some roster notes, and then trying to pull apart what actually went down on the practice field. So, yeah, this is just a tweet from Greg Bell indicating that the day has started. First of two joint practices in Nashville. So, first note concerns Connor Williams. He was present. Connor Williams was there. You can see him in this picture right here from Boyle. But he did not really do anything. He is not yet participating in practice. Even if we were having normal practices at the VMAC, it doesn't seem like he would be going yet. So if you wondered what's going on there, I mean, he's wearing the uniform. He's part of the team now. He's just not playing quite yet. But we're coming along there. Good stuff. Some injury notes. Jerome Baker, still out. John Radigan, still out. Not surprising. Added to the injury report was Zach Charbonnet. McDonald talked about this one a little bit, said something tightened up. He didn't know exactly what, but they're looking at it, and they decided to hold him out as a precaution. And we also did not have Tyler Lockett, who was in pads, but didn't do that much. He did a little bit of catching after the practice was over, just to stay warmed up. But for one reason or another, they decided to keep Lockett out of the practice. And we also had Noah Fant limited. McDonald did not really talk about it, but Fant didn't do all that much. And there was one injury that happened during the practice, and it was Draymond Jones, which, I mean, I'm not going to pretend like this is great news, right? He just got back. He already missed 2 weeks, and already he's out there for like 2 days, and something happens again. However, McDonald said he only had something flare up. It's not serious. So it could just be a 1 day or 2 day thing, which, okay, but at the same time, he's got to be out there at some point, right? He's doing different stuff this year in McDonald's defense. He is going to be doing things in a different manner than he is used to. And if he's not out there to work on it, I'm not going to feel great about his ability to do it well when the season starts. So that's basically the injury stuff. We also had one little roster update. We brought back a linebacker, Easton Gibbs, guy who was here in the OTAs in May. Nathan Pickering was released to make room. So we needed a linebacker. We got a linebacker. So that's it in terms of like the roster stuff. Now let's talk about some of the things that transpired on the field. Before we get to that though, I hope you like this video. If you do like this video, please click the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and click the bell if you want notifications every time a video goes up. Consider becoming a channel member, $2 a month. Those are the best ways to help support the channel. All right, so let's take a look at what actually went down in terms of some good things and maybe one or two concerning things. First thing would be the one-on-ones. If you go through, I think Dugar actually has quite a few tweets about the one-on-ones that they were able to get on camera. And you can watch through those, some pretty interesting things. But I think that the most notable star of the show for the Seahawks in the one-on-ones with the cornerbacks versus the receivers might be Cody White. Cody White made a couple nice catches in the one-on-one, And that's really important to us because he's a guy who may or may not make the team. Like Bobo made some nice plays in the one-on-one as well, but we all know Bobo's going to make the team. There's no question about that. It'd be very weird if he didn't make the team. But Cody White is a guy who I don't think we have room for. But if he plays really, really well in these joint practices and continues to play well in the preseason, maybe we make room somehow. Maybe we find a creative way to make room. I don't know. But he's had a really good camp, and he's continued to have a really good camp in the joint practice as well. So definitely check those out. Check out the Bobo play. There was a play where Metcalf got a step on McCreary. Ball was a little overthrown. Some other nice plays as well, but definitely some pretty cool things going on here. And one note about the Titans, though. They did not have their likely top two, or at least two of their top three cornerbacks, no Awuzie and no Snead. So take those one-on-ones with it as you will. If you want to take them super seriously, you can, but understand that the Titans are not playing with a full deck in that secondary right now. Obviously, a lot of people will want to know what happened with Jamal Adams, because obviously he's part of the Titans now. He's on that team. He's certainly going to be partaking in some sideline wolfing. He's certainly going to be taking part in some trash talk. He's certainly going to be one of the guys leading the charge for the Titans emotionally, because this is his former team, and he's that kind of a guy anyway. So Dugar describes here what I think we all knew was going to happen. Pretty much every other play has featured some level of commentary or talking from Jamal Adams, even during special teams. Non-stop barking at his ex-teammates or hyping up his current teammates. So, yeah, there was a little bit of that going on. However, Jamal Adams didn't do a lot of playing. This tweet from Greg Bell actually kind of describes one of the few things he actually did on the football field. He wrestled Ken Walker to the ground on the first play of 11 on 11. And, I mean, he was demonstrative about it, but we didn't really see him after that. He, according to the Titans, has not practiced very much so far in Titans camp due to general soreness. So I guess you could call that on brand for Jamal Adams. He's there, but not necessarily because of stuff he does on the field. But he did make a nice play here on the first play of one-on-ones. I think it was like no gain or a very small gain. So he's out there and he's trying to rebuild his career, but there's a long way to go, and this general soreness thing does not necessarily indicate very positive developments there. If you're looking for a really positive sign from the Seahawks, another guy, Byron Murphy. If you're looking for people to be excited about, maybe you're excited about Cody White, but you also know that Cody White, long shot to make the roster, long shot to make the team. So maybe you're looking at a guy like a Byron Murphy. And according to multiple reporters, this is Greg Bell here, Byron Murphy picked up where he left off, swam through Titans offensive linemen with moves so quick off the snap they barely touch him during the one-on-one pass drill. So what we saw against the Chargers continues to be the case going into the joint practices. And if he can continue to do this the rest of the season, he might not put up monster numbers, but he's going to be a monster contributor, and that's really what we care about, right? Like, maybe he won't put up the numbers to get the national attention that we all hope that he gets, but at the end of the day, if Byron Murphy can be this disruptive, then we're certainly getting something out of it. And here's Condota talking about Byron Murphy as well. Had some good plays both in one-on-ones and in team drills. He did mostly work with the twos, but then Draymond got dinged up and he switched to working with the ones. So that does indicate to me, I mean, we don't get a full detail there, but he did it against both. So a lot of people there's a little bit of a rush to throw a little bit of cold water on the Byron Murphy stuff, because he's going against backups, and he is, but we're also seeing him against some pretty credible players as well do well. Some notes from a couple of Titans guys here on X, because the Titans guys obviously have their own perspective. JT, I cannot pronounce that last name, but JT here on X, he does Titan stuff. His notes: would not give the win to either side. A lot of back and forth, which is consistent with what I saw from the Seahawks side of things. Two guys for the Seahawks that he calls out specifically as being really good today were JSN and DK Metcalf. Could not lose against the Titan linebackers. Now, they're wide receivers. You wouldn't expect them to lose against linebackers, but point is, he singled them out as being some of the better players on the field. Sweat and Simmons continue to be a dynamic duo really push the line wherever they please. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the offensive line in a bit here because that did come up in a not so positive way. But T'Vondre Sweat and it's not just I almost said Justin Simmons there for a second. It's the Titan Simmons. I can't remember his first name. So many Simmonses out there. Looking really good. Jaquan Jackson had I think a 70-yard touchdown catch, and he had some other good plays as well. So he's looking pretty sharp out there. And he also points out that the Titans' offensive line was very inconsistent. Cushenberry in particular struggled. So while our offensive line had problems, so did theirs. So that's a little bit of a Titans perspective here. And here's what I want to talk about with the offensive line. This is from a Nashville sports reporter. Heard from the Titans defensive sideline, y'all better get your quarterback some massages. At least 6 sacks in 12 plays from Titans defense, all over Seahawks QBs during this third down scenario. So, I mean, that's not super encouraging. We're not thrilled about that. We don't really like that, do we? 6 sacks in 12 plays. The upshot is still no Connor Williams, still no Abe Lucas, so those guys can definitely change things and make things a lot better. But it does sound like there were some offensive line problems for the Seahawks in this practice session, so Connor Williams, your services are very much needed, especially when you combine this with the previous tweet where he calls out the interior of the Titans' defensive line as being dominant. Connor Williams could have done something about that. He's going to need to do something about that when the season starts. One thing about today's practice that is certainly notable was there wasn't really any fighting. There was some jawing, there was a little extracurricular stuff, but it was very minor. Condotta here describes kind of the closest we got to a fight. Ty Okada leveled a Titans ball carrier. It might have been helmet to helmet, so there was certainly some yapping, but never escalated to a fight, which is great to hear that the guys had it under control here. So if you were wondering if there were any like physical altercations, it doesn't seem like it. It seems like things got kept pretty clean here. Greg Bell here notes that practice ended with a touchdown pass from Sam Howell to Aesop Winston. So, I mean, Aesop Winston, that's another guy. We don't seem to have room for him, but he continues to impress, right? He's doing good in the preseason game. He does good in camp. It's almost too bad we don't have room for him. Maybe we can keep him on the practice squad, but with the way some of these guys are playing, makes you wonder if they have a job somewhere else in the NFL. Most teams carry 6 receivers. You do the math, that's like 200 receivers almost that make active rosters. Is Aesop Winston or Cody White a top 200 receiver in the NFL? I'd buy it. Condotta calls out DK Metcalf here, having a good day. Appeared to score a touchdown on 3rd and goal from the 6 on the last snap of the day between the first stringers. Called down at the 1, but it looked like it would have been a touchdown in a real game. He also says that JSN had a nice day. So those two guys, both called out positively by the Titans reporter, also getting their credit from Condotta here. Good to see, good to hear. Definitely excited about that. And Brady Henderson, who was watching mostly the defense against the Titans' offense, notes that the final play of the joint practice for him was a Devin Witherspoon sack. So defensive back blitzes. Didn't see a ton of them last year. Didn't see a lot of them in the first preseason game, but they're going to be there, man. They're going to be present. They're going to have an impact. So Devin Witherspoon gets the sack. He also notes that the Seahawks got a lot of pressure, which is consistent with what we got against the Chargers. But the Titans got some push in the run game, which that also makes a little bit of sense when you think about the fact that our linebacker room is very thin right now. And you would kind of expect there to be some issues up front in that regard. Especially because offensive linemen, they like to run block more than pass block. So when you think about it like that, these guys probably further along in their run blocking than their pass blocking. We did get some comments from Geno Smith in his post-practice press conference, which is the first time he's spoken to the media since he missed those practices last week. And he was asked about them, and what he said was nothing to worry about. Just good that I'm pretty healthy and was able to figure some things out. Says he felt pretty good since returning. Now, I don't want to be like some Reddit body language inspector or some, language or general language inspector. I don't want to be somebody who acts like I can just look at a guy's with 2 sentences and determine what he's actually thinking. can't help but notice that he did say pretty healthy, and he's felt pretty good and be a little bit concerned. Sorry, I can't help it. I mean, the season runs through Geno Smith. If Geno Smith isn't feeling good and hitting his throws and doing his job, this team isn't going anywhere. So when I see him say pretty healthy and pretty good, I wonder if there's means something there. I hope not, but I do take note of it. But he does overall seem like he's doing well. I didn't hear anything about him doing poorly in camp today, so I guess we'll just have to sit on it and see how he plays in the regular season. Another guy who played well today in the one-on-ones was Carlton Johnson, Fresno State cornerback, good in the one-on-one drills, and he's played really well in camp. Another guy we don't necessarily have room for in the active roster, but if we can get him on the practice squad, that would be really, really good, because this is a guy who is showing up beyond his undrafted rookie status from the recent offseason. So encouraging stuff here. And we also had this clip where Brady Henderson points out that you're seeing some running back tight end drills, catching passes. The interesting part here being, of course, the running backs. We know that the tight ends are going to get used in the pass game a lot, but Walker spoke recently about being used more as a pass catcher in Ryan Grubb's offense. He has the receiving skills to do it. You can see it in the drills here, the focus on it. They're going to try to turn Ken Walker into a true dual threat, which he can absolutely be. He can absolutely do it. So, encouraging stuff here. And I want to go out on a high note here. So, we got this, I believe this is a Titans reporter here on X as well, where he calls out some things that really stood out to him as being good. Traylon Burks beating Trey Brown deep. Nice move and ran right by him. So, that's probably the low light of Trey Brown's day overall. Titans struggled to run early in the first team period. Let's see here. Malik Willis made a nice throw. Don't hear a lot about that. Still kind of keeping an eye on Malik Willis, hoping things work out for him, because I did kind of like him before the draft in 2020. What was that? 2022. Obviously hasn't found any success yet, but we got a little something going on there. Boye Mafe smokes NPF with an outside move, so Mafe continues to look good. But the thing that I really wanted to focus on here at the end of this video was Seahawks defensive backs. According to a Titans beat reporter, won the day. Reek Woolen in particular gets singled out as allowing 0 completions against Calvin Ridley. And I saw some clips. You can go find some clips on X as well if you want to. Woolen on Ridley. Woolen not giving him a chance to breathe. Woolen looks really good. He looks locked in. It looks like he took the criticisms this offseason seriously, got better. And while there are still some things that he's going to have to get better at, we know he's good in coverage. He's having a really good camp, and we should be excited about the season he is about to have for the Seattle Seahawks. All right, those are all the notes that I have so far. I'll see you guys later. Maybe another video later today, but if not, see you tonight on Twitch. See you tomorrow on other videos, and go Hawks.